Hello, good morning, welcome to today's Facecast. Today we are following on from yesterday's Facecast, which was all about the death and destruction of the earth and our place within it and the way we should be living. And this continues on quite literally in 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 11 and 12. Just to remind you, yesterday, if you've forgotten or if you weren't reading it, it said, "The day of the Lord will come like a thief. The heavens will disappear with a roar, the elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything in it will be laid bare." A very dour prophecy about what is to come. Verse 11 continues, "Since everything will be destroyed in this way, what kind of people ought you to be?" This is what Jesus does through his disciples and through his apostles and through the people who are writing these letters. He points out to us how we are to be living our lives in light of the fact that these things are going to happen. What kind of people ought you to be? You ought to live holy and godly lives as you look forward to the day of God and speed its coming. So we should be living holy. We should be living holy and godly lives. Now, there's a big question for us. Are we living holy and godly lives? What does it mean to live a holy life? Does it mean to be pious and good and do all the right? Yeah, it means that. True. Does it mean to benefit others with our lives, not just ourselves? Yep, of course. What is a holy life? It's a life modelled on how God is, his very nature and heart. How on earth can we know that about God? We can know because we have Jesus to look at as our example, our living flesh example of God our Father. That's why Jesus came to live amongst us, to be that example to us. When we look at Jesus, we see God in human form, God with skin, as a colleague of mine sometimes refers to Jesus. And in seeing that, we know how to live our lives because we see the life of Jesus and see how he was with people and what he told and taught people. The way of love, the way of forgiveness, the way of honesty and truth, the way of compassion. That's how we should be living our lives. We should be longing to be more like him, to serve him more and to serve others more around us. Because we are inherently selfish people, another word for that would be sinful people, self-oriented people, looking out for ourselves, because that is part of our human nature, it can sometimes be very difficult for us to be selfless and other person oriented. I wonder if you fall into that category. Do you find yourself looking out for yourself more than other people? Do you kind of shrug your shoulders and despair but don't care about the rest of the world when you see on the news about difficult things happening, people in India suffering through COVID, children not being able to live the lives that they should be able to live because of drought and famine? Do you think that's just somebody else's problem, not to do with me? Or do you have compassion? Do you take steps to do something about that? Do you give to charity? Do you offer to help in some way? They're the sorts of things that Jesus is saying we should be doing. We should be living our lives in light of the fact that the end of our lives comes pretty swiftly. It seems like 5 minutes ago I started as a minister in the Church of England. In fact, next month, June, we'll see the 30th anniversary of my ministry in the church. Where did all that time go? Just flashed by. Our lives are very short. Our lives are very brief, and we should make the very most of them that we can. We ought to live holy lives and godly lives as we look forward to the day of God and speed its coming. Be thankful that it is coming and look forward to it. In the meantime, get on with it. See you soon.